Sorry about that. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for being so patient with us. Seems we've had a little difficulty connecting to the internet today. In this footwork today, I'm going to be teaching you all about certain things I used to do during my training and whilst I was a pro dancer to basically keep my feet strong and healthy and active. I've got a couple of little things you can do here. If you have your point shoes, make sure you have them with you, as so, plus all of the toe protection gear you need. Personally, on point, back when I was dancing a lot, I needed quite a bit. Don't ever let anybody tell you that you don't need something in your shoe. Usually I used to find that a pair of ouch pouches were good. I needed a toe spacer for my left big toe because my left big toe tends to sort of like curve inwards towards the center of my foot, which you don't want. And I used to wear these two big toe protectors inside of my shoes and inside of these, just on my toes. So go and grab your toe protection kit if you've got it with you. Make sure you have your point shoes. A tennis ball or something hard like the little spiky ball that I've got would be perfect as well. If you have got a TheraBand, that would be amazing. Unfortunately, I don't have any with me in the Netherlands, so I have a pair of tights. Go grab yourself a pair of tights if you need a pair. And I'm going to introduce these little gadgets to you today and just explain what they're about. You don't need these if you don't have them. So that's what I've currently got here. The other thing you might want to grab is a blanket or a mat or some description of towel to sit on, because I'm going to do a foot exercise on that towel as well. Okay, so let's get started. A little late, but luckily we're here. So first and foremost, I'm just going to stick my shoes to the side for a second whilst I explain what we're going to do. First and foremost, we're going to warm our feet up, get them a bit more active. And we're going to start off with, let's start off with a little massage with the spiky ball. Tennis balls are really good for this. Cricket balls are also good for it. Anything that will enable you to get a nice feeling of massage. The spiky ball in particular, the reason I've got this was because I used to use it a lot for my back. It's also amazing for feet. The little spikes on it kind of feel a bit like acupressure points as you're rolling them across your feet. Can be a tad ticklish. So if you can't stand that, best to grab a tennis ball or some description of cricket ball. Hi Zig, you going to come and help me today? Yes, this ball is not for you. So what we do is you've got to make sure that you've got something on your foot, usually for spiky balls. Doesn't matter with anything else. Stick it under your foot and just have a good old roll around. Get into all the bits that get really tense. I mean, for me personally, the way I stretched my feet, this particular muscle under here that connects your big toe all the way underneath your heel, that particular one used to get very tight on me. So I'd spend a lot of time in the morning when I was coming into class rolling my feet out, also rolling my back and my legs out as well. Those were the things that used to take a beating during pro work. Just make sure you've got a little bit of space in front of you to roll your foot out. Give it a good going over. Get into your metatarsal arches, get into your actual ball of your foot as well, and a little onto your heel. If you have plantar fasciitis, this might well help you, because plantar fasciitis is where on the sole of your foot, the fascia, which is the bit that basically it's like a cling film bag that goes over your muscle and tendon, that bit gets irritated and it causes pain from underneath your heel to under your big toe. This rolling action releases it, releases the muscles and releases the fascia a little bit and helps you to stop feeling as sore. You can also use your hands to roll, as I'm doing right now. Switch your feet to the other one. Now, don't let it escape. One of the things that I remember being very beneficial to me as I got older and started doing point work was the tights that I'm wearing. I'm pretty sure Christine and Laura will already have told you about, you know, getting the right sort of tights for what you're doing. Personally, these ones were an absolute godsend in any performance because you can immediately whip them off. You can grab your toe kit, shove your toe kit on, shove your ballet shoes on over the top of that, run out, do your point work solo, come back, everything's off for the next contemporary solo. But it doesn't matter because you've got these and it saves you like 10 minutes getting your tights on and off again. So grabbing a couple of pairs of these little Capizio or like Dan says or whatever tights with the holes in the sole of the feet are really, really useful. Just as a quick aside. I'll give your feet a good roll out. Make sure that they've got all the sore bits that you get into. If you're feeling anything very, very sharp pain, don't push hard into that. You want to avoid that. But if you're feeling like an ache, like you get after you've done a set of like traditional class pliés, you want to get into that and you want to work it out. I found a little ache underneath my big toe joint, sort of here, meaning that something's tight in there. So I'm just letting the ball take care of that little sore spot. Right. And if you want to do what I did earlier, this also helps because it gives you a bit more control over the ball and it helps you push into the foot, getting it nice and loose. It also helps you get to the heel as well. This always kind of makes me feel a bit weird on this heel because I did have an injury in this foot when I was about 16. So I sometimes end up going all the way up my ankle as well with this, just to try and target the areas that I find are really sore. So yeah, once you've used your little ball, you can put it to the side. One of the things that often gets neglected when you're doing point work is basically the idea of what's going on inside of the shoe when you got your foot inside of it. So basically when you're in your ballet shoe, you're not really thinking too much about it, are you? Because you can see basically what your foot's doing. But if you compare your ballet shoe to your point shoe, there's a huge amount of difference. You can't see what your toes are doing in here because of the, the hard platform on it. So if you think about what you do with your foot in the ballet shoe, I'll use my left one. What should be happening is that you shouldn't be rolling one way or the other. Both of your joints, big toe joint and little toe joint, should be flat on the floor, and you should have all your toes nice and relaxed. It should literally look just like this. There should be no scrunching or like rolling or anything. You should have a nice relaxed foot, and you shouldn't be gripping the floor for dear life with your toes. If you're gripping, normally that's because there's a muscle imbalance somewhere else. So let's say I was gripping really tight to the floor in my fifth position. That usually means that something in my glutes, usually gluteus minimus, I think, is unbalanced. So you need to work on that, get it stronger, and then you should stop gripping the floor so hard with your toes, and you should transfer that energy to gripping with your seat muscles instead. So a good way to stop the gripping and a good way to stop any rolling, clenching things is what we did last time I streamed, which is this whole exercise that I've showed you before, where you've got your feet flat on the floor, nice and relaxed. And the reason I've said to have a blanket or a towel or a mat or something in front of you is so you can do this. So what you're doing is you're trying to draw up all of the little knuckles on your foot upwards so that they poke out and that your toes remain flat on the floor. I'll do it with my other foot as well to show you. So these poke up like little mountains, and here's your valley. That's what we used to call it when I was a kid. So what you're doing is you're trying to activate the muscles underneath your foot, and you're not just curling your toes over and clenching, which actually kind of leaves a lot of stuff under there kind of squishy. You want that to be incredibly strong for releves in the center and point work. So if you stick your feet in front of you, we'll have a go. We'll do 5 little retractions, pulling your mat, your blanket, your carpet type of thing towards you. Then I'll let you rest, give your feet a shake, possibly have a roll of the ball. Then we'll go again, another 5. Make sure they're nice long pulls upwards and they're not like little short ones. Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's Ziggy objecting to not being let out yet. 5, and then relax, give your feet a shake. If they're feeling tight anywhere, you can give them a bit of a squeeze. My left foot's always been weaker, much bendier, but much weaker than my right foot, so I usually have to give that a bit of a going over. If you find you've got cramp, turning your toes up gently will help you. Okay, let's have another go. Stick your feet in front of you and get ready to just draw the blanket towards you. Off we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. Can you see my left foot quivering because it's the weaker one? And then relax. Give your feet a good shake. My left foot's a bit crampy. It is very common for most dancers to have one foot that's actually weaker than the other and that has more problems. Like I said, this one's the issue for me. It's very bendy. It's ridiculously bendy. But the issue with it is because it's so bendy, the muscles aren't there to control it. So I've had to be very careful with it in